Hello everybody, welcome to the next game in the Demolition League 2015 Strat-O-Matic. We are in Series 4. We completed last week, completed this game, Game 1 of that series, and just recently, well, it'll be going live here on this one, but I'm playing this one before I play this one. This is going to post later though, I'm kind of flipping it. I want to record this one and do that one live. So right now we're at Boston and Cleveland, which is Series 4 Matchup 3, Game 1. Both teams enter the game 6 and 3. So we're looking at the Red Sox against the Cleveland Indians. Pitching matchup, getting the start for the Indians, his third start of this replay, or this little mini league, is Corey Kluber. And Kluber enters the game 1-1 with a 2.84 ERA. And for the Red Sox, the visiting Red Sox getting his first start, being called up, is Clay Buchholz. On the 2015 season, he was 7-7 with a 3.26 ERA and 18 starts. So he should get 6 starts in this season because everything's a third. All right, starting lineups, rest rolls, all that good stuff. I did that ahead of time. So let's look at the lineup for the Red Sox in the rest roll. The only player who had to rest was Jackie Bradley, so he is rested. And the other thing to mention as well is Ryan Hannigan in the let me get ahead of myself here. Let's look at the previous game that each team played. Red Sox defeated Houston in their last game, but it was a costly one a little bit. Ryan Hannigan is injured for 4 games, so that is why Blake Swihart was called up, and he's actually in the starting lineup today. So it's Betts, Pedroia, Bogarts, Ortiz, Napoli, Sandoval, Ramirez, Swihart, and Victorino for the Red Sox. For the Cleveland Indians, they had a wild and woolly game, their final game of the Cincinnati series in matchup in Series 3. And it was a tight game, 4-2 to the 6th, and then they gave up 6 runs to Cincinnati in the 7th. To fall behind 10-2, and then they came back and got 9 runs in the top of the 8th to take an 11-10 lead, but then they gave it right back up 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th by Marlon Byrd hit a home run. That was the big blow in that one. So they ended up losing that game 13-11. No injuries or anything to report other than their pride, but that's the story there. On the rest rolls, Murphy, the outfielder David Murphy, is the only one who had to rest. So we got to look at their lineup. Make sure it fits on the camera. Yeah, I might need to pull this up just a hair, or pull this down just a hair so you can see the whole clipboard. There we go. I'm still getting back in the swing of things here. Bourne in center, Kipnis at second, Santana at first, Brantley in left, Ramirez at short, Moss the DH, Rayburn in right, subbing for Murphy, who had to rest. Chisenhall at third, and Roberto Perez, the catcher. So those are your starting lineups. And just to get everybody straight on bullpen and benches, so you know who's available and who's not, in case you're curious and want to manage along with me, I don't know. For the Indians, they have Mike Aviles on the bench. They have Jerry Sands on the bench. Of course, Murphy is resting, and he can come in the 7th inning or later. And then backup catcher Yan Gomes. So those are the 4 players on the bench, but Murphy's not available until at least the 7th. For the Red Sox, Mr. Swiss Army Knife Brock Holt is on the bench. Daniel Nava, a backup outfielder, is on the bench. The aforementioned Jackie Bradley, but he has to wait till the 7th to come in. And backup catcher Sandy Leone. And you might notice some players have different team names on the back of their cards. That just means they were traded to other teams later in the season, but starting now, they are available with the team they started with. All right, the bullpens for the Cleveland Indians, they have Brian Shaw, Kyle Crockett, Ryan Webb, Austin Adams, and their closer, Cody Allen from the right side. From the left side, Nick Hagedorn and Mark Chepsinski. So again, each team maintains the 2 left-handers and usually 5 right-handers in the bullpens for 7 bullpen pitchers. For the Red Sox, Junichi Tazawa, a righty, Mujica, a righty, Heath Hembry, a righty, Alexi Ogando, a righty, And their closer, Koji Urahara, back from injury, so he's there. Those from the right side, from the left side, 2 lefties, Robbie Ross and Craig Breslow. So now you know who the bench and bullpen guys are for both teams. So if you wonder why I didn't bring somebody in or pinch hit with somebody, it's because they are not on the roster currently. I do have the game up on the computer, so I can score it as we go. And let me make sure I got my charts out here. Okay, charts are close by. And I do believe we are just about ready for some baseball from Progressive Field. Of course, not using ballpark effects in advanced only. So keep that in mind. All right, let's bring the score sheet in and get everything lined up the way I need it so that you guys can see what the heck is going on. Hope the lighting is okay. We'll find out. There's the proverbial dice tray. And make sure I got enough room to put the cards in. Like I say, when you've been away for a while, which I was, due to COVID, and just generally being tired after the fact, took me a while to get back in the swing of things. I think we're back ready to go now. I think there's enough room to see everything, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like it's okay. All right, so Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber will be the starter for the Indians here in this ball game. This is Series 4, Matchup 3, Game 1, game number 48 of 270, and the replay date is April 23rd, 2015. Again, both teams are 6-3. All right, so Corey Kluber on the mound, getting his warm-up tosses in. He'll be facing Mookie Betts, and Mookie has been struggling in this replay to date. Mookie enters the game hitting only 179, a homer and 4 runs driven in 39 at-bats. So, does have 3 steals, but the average is certainly lower than he would like it. So game 48, Red Sox and Indians underway. 4-6. Ground ball to third, handled easily by Chisenhall. Quickly one down. And of course I'm scoring it on the computer as we're playing, so that's in there now. Next up is Dustin Pedroia, second baseman. He's hitting .286, 7 out of 28 on the season so far. 1 homer, 6 runs driven in for Pedroia. Oh, that's a Suadice, so we'll re-roll that. Don't know how that happened. 6'10". 6'10 is a catcher X. The catcher is Perez. He is a 2. 2 and an 8 for a catcher. It's probably one of those pass ball, wild pitches, and pop-out deals. Let's see. 2 and an 8. That's actually just a straight-up pop-out. So there was nobody on base anyway to make a wild pitch, but it's just a straight-up pop-out for out number 2. And one other thing I forgot to do was look at the injury check for both starting pitchers. Corey Kluber probably doesn't have an injury because he had so many starts. Corey Kluber, yep, he's a 0, but Buchholz is a 4. So on a 4, that means a 6'9". So if Buchholz rolls a 6'9", he will be susceptible to injury. Kluber has no chance at an injury. So I did want to make sure I got that in there. So Pedroia pops out to Perez for out number 2, and that'll bring up Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop. Oh, Tabby just jumped down. I hope that didn't show up on camera. It almost startled me there. All right, so Bogaerts, he comes into the game hitting a robust .359. He's really been kicking it. 2 homers and 4 runs driven in and 39 at-bats. A .359 average. That's why he's hitting in the 3-hole. 3-5, and he's added again a single for Bogaerts. He's just going to increase that average. So Bogaerts, a 2-out single. Perez is a good arm, -1. Bogaerts is a B. He will be held, but that would make it a 1-9 if he tried to steal. So with Ortiz coming up, I think he's going to just stand pat. And speaking of Big Papi, he's hitting an even .250, 8 out of 32 on the replay. 2 homers and 2 driven in. So obviously hit 2 solo home runs, and that's it. The power side. 5-8 against a lefty, but that's trouble here. 1's a triple, 2 to 20 is a double, which would probably score Bogarts. We shall see. Make sure it's not a triple. It is not. It's a double. A big double to center field. It's assumed to go to center when there's no position listed. Center fielder is Michael Bourne for the Indians, and he's a +1 arm. So we take a look at Bogarts, who runs at a 14. He was being held, makes him a 13, but there are 2 outs, so you add 2 to make it a 15. And then the +1 from Bourne is a 16. So 1 to 16, he will score. And he does. So it's an RBI double, and Ortiz too slow. He's not going to try to take an extra base or anything like that, not in advanced. But an RBI double for David Ortiz, and the Red Sox grab a 1-0 lead. That's his first RBI that did not have a home run attached to it. But the Red Sox lead at 1-0. They're getting the Kluber early. That'll bring up Mike Napoli, the first baseman. Napoli is in limited duty, only hitting 190, 21 at bats. No homers and 5 driven in, but it's only 21 at bats, so it's kind of hard to judge anything there. Ortiz obviously not being held on second. 5-9, that's a strikeout. So Kluber gets out of it after that, but the Red Sox strike first. RBI double by Big Papi. And we go to the bottom of the first. It is Boston 1 and Cleveland coming to bat. And Clay Buchholz on the mound. Again, he was 7-7 with a 3.26 ERA in real life. This is his first start of the replay. And he'll be facing center fielder Michael Bourne to lead things off. Bourne is struggling, 179 average in 39 at-bats with no homers and 6 driven in. Does have 3 steals, but he really needs to bump that average up if he can. So Buchholz, 4-7 against the lefty, struck him out. So good start for Buchholz. His first batter faced in the league, and he strikes him out. Brings up the red-hot Jason Kipnis. Boy, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Indians are tearing it up. Jason Kipnis is hitting 472 on the replay in 36 at-bats with 4 doubles, 2 triples, a home run, and 8 runs driven in. So he has been just smoking it for the Indians. He pretty much leads in almost all the Triple Crown categories. But again, it's only been, 9 games, so take that with a grain of salt. 1-9. 1-9 is a ground ball to second. Easy play there for Pedroia. And Kipnis is retired. That'll bring up the equally, well, not quite equally hot, Carlos Santana. He's hitting 294 in 34 at-bats. 3 home runs and 12 runs driven in. So he's got the pop going. 6-4 against the switch hitter batting left is a fly to center. There is no ballpark. I'm sorry, over here, 6-4. It's a ground ball to second again, so easy play for Pedroia. And an easy inning for Mr. Buchholz to get his feet wet. Goes through the top of the order of the Indians with no problem. It's 1-0 after 1. And now Kluber will come back out and see if he can settle down a little bit. He's going to start out facing the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. And Sandoval on the replay is hitting 259 in 27 at-bats, 1 homer and 5 driven in. Switch hitter steps up 6-5, strikes out. So Kluber, second strikeout in a row going back to last inning. And the Panda will take a seat. That'll bring up Hanley Ramirez. Kind of dropped him in the order a little bit in this lineup. Trying to get lefty-righties split up as much as I can. Ramirez on the replay, he's struggling, hitting 222 in 27 at-bats, 1 homer and 3 driven in. That's why he's dropped down a little bit. 6-9 struck him out, so 3 strikeouts in a row for Kluber. Probably didn't like giving up that run to Papi, so he's coming back with a vengeance. And that'll bring up Blake Swihart. This will be his first at-bat since being called up for the injured Ryan Hannigan. First at-bat for Swihart on the 2015 season. He hit 274 with 5 homers and 31 driven in. Decent offensive numbers, but his defense leaves something to be desired. A 4 range with a +1 arm, so not too good there. So Swihart gets Kluber. 1-9, struck him out. So Kluber strikes out the side. Boy, talk about being upset about giving up a run in the top of the first. He must have been, because he comes back and whiffs everybody. So we go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0. Buckholt's back out. We'll be facing Michael Brantley, who's almost as hot as Kipnis is. He's hitting .361 in 36 at-bats with 2 home runs and 11 driven in. Also has 2 steals in 9 games. So here is Brantley. 6-6 against the lefty. That's a single. Leadoff single for Brantley. You wonder if he might try to run, particularly with Swihart back there with that +1 arm. Brantley's an A stealer, which means as an A stealer, he starts out at a 15. Being held makes him a 13, but the +1 arm makes it a 14. So 1-14, Brantley's going to try to swipe second base. And he's thrown out. How about that? Blake Swihart comes in rocking and throws out the would-be thievery of Michael Brantley. So Brantley erased from the base paths. Nice throw there by Swihart. He shows he's in mid-season form with that arm. Here's Jose Ramirez playing shortstop until Francisco Lindor arrives, and then Ramirez will move to third, but right now he's playing short. Or he may move to second, it depends. So he can do all 3. So right now in 30 at-bats, he's hitting .333. No homers, 4 driven in for Mr. Ramirez. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. So Buckholz comes back with the strikeout. Must have been invigorated by that caught stealing from his battery mate, Mr. Swihart. Brings up Brandon Moss. And Moss, the DH, in limited duty, 22 at-bats. He's hitting .273, a homer and 6 driven in. 6-11 against the lefty. Ground ball to first. And that's an easy play for Mr. Napoli. He'll take it to the bag himself. And the inning's over. So Indians thought they had promise with the leadoff runner on, but the caught stealing took all that away. And now Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber will be facing Shane Victorino. And Victorino is in there for the rested Jackie Bradley. Limited duties, he's 5 out of 15, a .333 average, no homers and 1 driven in. But again, only 15 at-bats. 2-6, he's going to ground it to third, and Chisenhall will make the play. 1 down. Back to the top of the order for Mookie, you bets. As he tries to turn things around. He grounded to third also his first time up. 6-4, and this time it's a fly ball center field X. Center fielder is Michael Bourne. Bourne is a 2 in center field. 2 and a 10 probably goes to his error check for a center fielder. 2 and a 10 does go to the error check. He is an E1. Whoops, wrong dice. My bad. E1. E1 and a 4 for center fielder. E1 and a 4 is a fly ball B, so good enough. Nice play by Mr. Bourne. And that'll send up Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia popped out. Kipnis' first chance. 4-8 for Kluber. Struck him out. So Kluber has settled in, but his mates need to get him some runs. Go to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 Red Sox. And due up will be right fielder Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn, the right fielder, in limited duty, only 14 at-bats, is hitting .286, no homers and 2 driven in. Comes out to be 2 out of 14. He does have, both of his hits have been doubles. So that's kind of interesting. No singles yet. 6-7, might get a single here. 1-16 will be a single. And it is barely, right on the number. But Rayburn will take it. Leadoff single. He is a E stealer. He is not even going to be held. It's certainly no threat to steal. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Lonnie Chisenhall. And Chisenhall checks in. Hitting .481. So incredible. In 27 at-bats, he's hitting .481. He's got 6 doubles and a homer. So equally as hot. Maybe shouldn't drop him so low in the order. I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake. 6-7. Now again, 6-9 is the injury check, but 6-7's okay. 1-3 is a single. Anything else, he lines it right to Pedroia. And Pedroia snags it for out number 1. So Chisenhall hit it hard once again, but this time nothing to show for it. And that brings up the number 9 hitter, Roberto Perez, the catcher. It's kind of splitting time with Yan Gomes. Gomes caught the last game, so Perez is catching this game. Perez, in just 9 at-bats, is hitting .222, so that comes up to be 2 for 9. 1 homer, which was also his only RBI. Rayburn still at first, but not being held. 2-4 for Perez. That's a ground ball. I'm sorry, over here. That's a single. Single by Perez, single to left field. I'll put runners at first and second, as Rayburn will put the brakes on at second base. First and second with only 1 out. Maybe the Indians can get something going here against Buchholz. Bourne back up. He struck out his first chance. Nobody being held on. 6-3 against the lefty. That's a single to center. Center fielder arm is Mookie Betts. He is a -1 on his arm. Rayburn again runs at a 12. Was not being held, makes him a 13, but then he drops to a 12 because of the -1 arm. And with only 1 out, do you take a chance? You got the red-hot Jason Kipnis coming up, who leads the league in hitting. So I think they're going to go station to station, load the bases with only 1 out for the league's leading hitter, Jason Kipnis, although Kipnis did make an out last time. Nobody's being held on. Bases are loaded. Infield back for the double play, trying to turn 2. 4-5, and they just did it. Ground ball, second base A. That is a 4-6-3 double play. And now the second guessers are saying you should have sent Rayburn and tried to score on that. But with the red-hot Kipnis coming up, I just didn't want to run him out of an inning. But Kipnis hit it hard, but right to Pedroia, and they turn the 4-6-3 double play. Wipes the bases clean. And at the end of 3, Red Sox still cling to that 1-0 lead. Corey Kluber a little frustrated, hoping to get some runs, and it didn't happen. But he'll come back out and face Xander Bogaerts to start things off. Bogaerts singled and scored the only run of the game. First trip up. 4-5. Ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Jose Ramirez. He is a 3 and an E30. 3 and a 10. Most likely the error check, which it is. So he's an E30. Not very good. A lot of errors. E30 and a 5 for a shortstop. E30 and a 5 is a 1-base error. So Jose Ramirez boots it. And Bogaerts is aboard on the E6. 1-base error by Jose Ramirez. Bogaerts is a B stealer. And the catcher, Perez, is a -1 arm. So again, a 1-9. But so I think they're going to hold him up there and see if Big Papi can bring him around. Big Papi had the RBI double his first chance. Bogaerts is being held at first. 3-12. 3-12 is a single 2 stars. So that puts runners at the corners with nobody out. And now Kluber in trouble again. Ortiz, of course, will not be held. And here's Napoli. Now the question is, do you play the infield in, or do you play back for the double play and try to prevent the big inning and trust your offense to come back against Buchholz? I think they're going to play back for the double play. And because he's got a 1-7 here as a plus on that 7 number, that would get through for a base hit. So they don't want to take a chance on that. They're going to play back for the double play, give up the run to get 2 outs. Here's Napoli. Kluber really needs a strikeout. 5-6, and he got it. That was huge. Really needs now a double play gets him out of the inning. And Pablo Sandoval, who's definitely a double play candidate, is up to the plate. So they're playing for the double play. Here's Sandoval, struck out his first chance. 4-8, and he's going to walk, and that's going to load the bases. So the Panda coaxes a walk to load the bases for Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez, see how they want to play this. He does have, like I said, have that plus on the number 7 there. So they're playing again. They're going to stay at double play depth. 2-7, and right there, right on the number, 2-7. Had I played the infield in, that would have been a base hit 2 stars. But with the infield back, it's a double play. 6-4-3 to get him out of the inning. So that time Francona pulled the right trigger. and kept the infield back and prevented any more runs. Big play there. Red Sox miss a golden opportunity against Kluber. You don't get many of those chances. But they leave them loaded. Well, not really loaded because of the double play, but they were loaded. But double play took care of that. Here's Carlos Santana. And Santana, first time up, grounded to second. 1-4, and he's going to ground to short. So he's hitting all the infield positions. Ramirez takes care of it. Santana will have to try to change his evil ways for future at-bats because it didn't work this time. Here's Brantley, and Brantley singled his first time and was caught stealing. 6-11, again, Buchholz is a 6-9, so 6-11 is fine. It's a ground ball to first. And Napoli takes it to the bag himself. And Buchholz living dangerously, but so far unscathed. Jose Ramirez, shortstop, made that error last time, but it ends up not costing him. Struck out his first chance. 3-6, and this time he grounds to second. Pedroia is there, and the inning's over. So I thought it might be more runs in this game, particularly by the Indians, but still 1-0 as we go to the fifth. Kluber has a fatigue of 7. Buchholz a fatigue of 6. Blake Swihart steps to the plate, struck out his first chance. 4-3 to the switch hitter, and that's a fly ball right field X. That is the right fielder, Ryan Rayburn, and Rayburn's a 3. 3-18 is good, so Rayburn tracks it down. 1 away. Swihart is retired, and now the flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino. 6-9. 6-9 struck him out, so Kluber on his game now, but looking for some runs from his mates. Now we're back to the top of the order for Mookie Betts. 0 for 2. He's still struggling. Might have to move him out of the leadoff spot. He's dropped down to 171 now, so I think the Red Sox might be thinking about dropping him down to the lower part of the order or somewhere just to get his confidence back. 1-8, and 1-8's a 1-7 chance for a single. Anything else, he lines it right to Chisenhall. And it's a base hit. It sneaks it past Chisenhall. 2-out single for Mookie Betts. Now, does he try to run? He's an ace stealer. Perez, a -1 arm. Ace stealer starts as a 15. Being held makes him a 13. -1 is a 12. 1-12, 60% chance of getting into scoring position. They're going to send him. So Mookie Betts looking to run. One to 12, he makes it. And he does. Mookie Betts steals second base. Gets into scoring position where he again will be held at second base for Dustin Pedroia. As the Red Sox try to add to their lead with 2 outs. Runner in scoring position. Pedroia, 0 for 2, popped to second and struck out. 5-10, and it's a fly to center to end the inning. No ballpark effects, of course. So Kluber gets out of that. We go to the bottom of the fifth, still 1-0, favor the Red Sox. And Buchholz on his debut, pitching very well, holding the high-flying Indians to nothing, really. No runs and 4 hits. That's all they've got. So Brandon Moss will lead it off. He grounded to Napoli his first chance. Moss the DH, 4-4. It's going to fly to center. Put away easily by Mookie Betts. 1 down. And that'll send up Ryan Rayburn, right fielder. Now, once we get to the 7th inning, then the guys that had to rest will be eligible to pinch hit, pinch run, play defense, whatever. Right now, they're not. 1-11 for Rayburn. That's a single. 1-out single for Ryan Rayburn. He's 2 for 2 in place of the rested Murphy. The only problem is he doesn't run well, so he's not even going to be held. But he does get on base. And that brings up Lonnie Chisenhall. Of course, he's the guy that's been with a line out to second. His average dropped, and in air quotes, dropped to 464. But he's still dangerous. 6-6, and that's another single, so his average is going to go up again. That's a single to center field, and the way Rayburn runs, he will stop at second base. So So first and second with only one out. And the catcher, Roberto Perez, who did single his first chance. He's up again. Perez now a 300 hitter. He's 3 out of 10 for the season as he's splitting time with Yan Gomes. Nobody being held for the Indians. 110, and he struck him out. So big strikeout there for Buchholz as he bows up and gets that second out. And now he's got to deal with Michael Bourne, who did single his last time up. So Buchholz has to bear down one more time. Try to get out of this. 6-5, he does not. It's a big double for Michael Bourne. And the Indians break through. And we'll see if Chisenhall can score from first or not. We know that Rayburn scores from second. Chisenhall runs at a 12. He was not being held as a trail runner, so, well, nobody was being held, so it makes him a 13. There are 2 outs, makes it a 15. The fly ball, or the double, is assumed, well, it does say right field, so the double went to right field. Right fielder Arm Victorino is a -1. So, 12 for the running, +1 for not being held is a 13, +2 for 2 outs makes it a 15, -1 is a 14. So 1-14, and Chisenhall will score, and the Indians will take the lead. And he's in there. So RBI, 2 RBI double, 2-run double for Michael Bourne. And just like that, the Cleveland Indians have taken the lead. And now the Red Sox bullpen starting to stir down there. The very dangerous Jason Kipnis is up. He's 0 for 2, but that could mean he's due. His average has dropped to 447 with that 0 for 2. But with 2 outs, they're going to pitch to him. They're not going to walk him. First base is open, but they will not walk him. 3-7. Maybe they should have walked him, but we're not doing clutch. So this is a super advanced rule that would change this single to a hit. I mean, to an out, rather. But since we're not doing clutch, it's a single 2 stars. RBI single for Kipnis. It's now 3-1 Indians. So maybe we should have walked him. Maybe discretion was the better part of valor. Kipnis, B Stealer, will be held but will not go anywhere. And Carlos Santana, the batter. And Buchholz trying to get through this inning without any more damage done. 4-10 against the switch hitter. Ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Ramirez. I'm sorry, shortstop is Bogarts, who's a 2. 220 makes the play. Inning's over, but 3 runs come in for the Indians. And at the end of 5, they now lead it by the score of 3-1. So now, Mr. Kluber, a little bit more pep in his step with a 3-1 lead to work with. Red Sox bullpen is active. That might be it for Buchholz. They might cap him at 5 innings. He gave up 8 hits and 3 runs. So with his first game back, they may go ahead and cap him with that. They got lefty action in the bullpen. Do the Red Sox. They do have left-hander. Left-hander Robbie Ross is loosing in the bullpen for the Red Sox. All right, first things first, though, we go to the top of the 6th. It is Xander Bogaerts, and Bogaerts is 1 for 2, singled, scored a run, and reached on an error by Ramirez. 3-8 for Bogaerts, and he's going to fly to center. A lot of hits in column 3, but he found the one that winds up in Michael Bourne's glove in center field. 1 down. And that's going to send up Big Papi to see if he can get something going. Big Papi is 2 for 2. He's doubled and singled. 2-9, and he just missed a home run. 2-10 would have been a homer. Super advanced, you'd have ballpark effects, but this one's just a deep fly to left. And hauled in out there by the left fielder Brantley. 2 down, so Ortiz just got up under it. But there's 2 quick outs for Mike Napoli. Napoli's got 0 for 2. He's struck out twice trying to avoid the hat trick. Whoop, that red die did not go through. One of them didn't anyway. Redo that. 3-7, and he's going to ground it to first. It's a C, so we'll call that a 3-1 ground out to end the inning. As first baseman, Santana flips to Kluber covering to end the inning. But we go to the bottom of the 6th. And Buchholz's day is done. He goes 5 innings. facing 21 batters. First game back, that's probably good. You don't want to, don't want to stress him out too much. So coming on for the Red Sox will be Robbie Ross. In real life, he was 0-2 with 6 saves and a 3.86 ERA. But we'll bring Robbie Ross in and see what his numbers are for the replay. Robbie Ross on the replay in 5 innings pitched. He's 1-0 with an ERA of 0. 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. So he's done pretty well in limited action. And he's going to face Michael Brantley, lefty on lefty matchup. That's why they brought him in. Then you've got the switch hitting Ramirez, followed by the left-handed hitting Moss. So 2 out of 3 are going to be left-handed. That's why Ross is in there. So Ross, and we'll check his injury factor for Robbie Ross, the number to avoid. So we'll check the chart. Robbie Ross, a 1. So 1 means 6-12. So Ross needs to avoid the 6-12 roll. And Brantley steps up, lefty on lefty. 2-7, and that's a single, so it didn't matter. Brantley says, I don't care, bring in the lefty all you want. He gets the base hit, and that is hit number 9 for the Indians, as opposed to only 4 for the Red Sox. Brantley, a stealer. Do they want to try it? They're up 3-1, so it probably doesn't hurt to try it. A stealer's a 15, being held is a 13, because you lose 2 for being held, and then you got the catcher arm of Swihart, who's a +1. So that's a 1-14. They're going to send him. And he makes it. Stolen base for Brantley. So Brantley gets the stolen base, gets himself in a scoring position with nobody out. He will have to be held at second base. For the switch hitter, Jose Ramirez will turn around bat right-handed against Robbie Ross. 1-6 against the lefty. That's a pop out to second base. So big pop out there with no advancement. Big first out there for Robbie Ross, and now he's got to deal with Brandon Moss. So we got Ross against Moss, lefty on lefty. Ross and Moss. Moss is 0-2 against Buckholz. See what he does against the lefty. He's got a pretty good column area against lefties, actually. Column 1. But it's a 6-8. Ross's injury is a 6-12, so that doesn't bother him there. 6-8's a ground ball first base B. So with the in advance, you're not supposed to move him up, but I'm going to go ahead and move him up because it's just, if you ground it to first, the guy on second's always going to get to thirds, particularly a guy that runs like Brantley. So I'll just make that decision to do that. So Brantley goes to third. First base unassisted on the ground out. So the runner is at third now with 2 outs, and Ryan Rayburn, the batter. Back to a right-hander who hits lefties pretty well. Do you leave Ross in there, or do you bring in a right-hander if you're the Red Sox? I think they're going to go to the right-hander. So Ross, they left him in there to face the 3 lefty, or the switch hitter and 2 lefties. And he got 2 of them out. Leaves 1 on third base. And now the Red Sox will go to a right-hander to try to get out of the rest of the inning. And that right-hander, let's see who's in the bullpen that makes sure. I think everybody's available as far as rest goes, as far as I remember. So they will bring in the right-hander, Heath Hembree. So right-hander Heath Hembree is on. In real life, he was 2-0 with a 3.55 ERA, no saves. On the replay, Heath Hembree checks in at no wins, no losses, a 1.93 ERA, 5 innings pitched, only 2 hits, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. So pretty impressive there. Now, we're not to the 7th yet, so we cannot pinch hit Murphy because we're not in the 7th yet. So Rayburn's going to stay there against Hembree. (4-8). 1-14 is a single. 1-14 is a single on the 4-8. So 1-14, and the Indians will add to their lead. It's a 14 around the number. So how about that? Ryan Rayburn comes through. He's 3 for 3, subbing for the rested Murphy, and scoring. Scoring is Mr. Brantley, and that was a big thing about moving him to third base because that was only a 1-star single. So you could say maybe it's a little controversial, but that's the one part I just feel like you should adhere to baseball. All right, so Rayburn with an RBI single. And that'll bring up Chisenhall. Rayburn, of course, not going to be held. 4-9. Oh, more big trouble here. 4-9. So the runner would have scored anyway, as it turns out, because of this. 1-5 is a home run. 6-20 is a triple for Chisenhall. That's a triple for Lonnie Chisenhall. So Hembree not the answer either. RBI triple. So it really wouldn't have mattered about the runner advancement because Brantley would have scored anyway on that triple. So a triple. That now makes it 5-1 Boston. I'm sorry, 5-1 Cleveland. Hembree just trying to get this one out and move it on to the 7th. Here's Perez. Chisenhall not being held at second. 4-6, and that's a walk. So the inning continues. I'm sorry, Chisenhall's at third. My bad. He's still not being held. So now Heath Hembree is tired from giving up all this activity. So do you take a chance, or do you take a chance he can get Michael Bourne? What do you do with Hembree? It's already 5-1. They got to pull him. They don't really have much of a chance here. So they're going to bring in their other lefty, Craig Breslow, to try to get out of the inning. Hembree couldn't get it done. He faced 3 batters and couldn't get anybody out. So Craig Breslow, the other left-hander, is on. And in real life, he was 0-4 rather, 4.15 ERA and a save. Let's see what he's done on the replay as Hembree will be lifted in favor of Craig Breslow. Breslow on the replay is 1-1 with a 4.26 ERA, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. The runners at the corners, 2 down, and Michael Bourne the batter. Lefty on lefty, 112. That's a low max, and that's going to end the inning. There's already 2 outs, so there's no double or triple play. And 2 more runs come in for Cleveland, and they take a 5-1 lead. So all of a sudden, the 5th and 6th innings, the Indians' bats have come alive, and Kluber is very happy about that situation. This will be his fatigue inning, though, number 7. That'll be the start of his fatigue inning, so we'll keep an eye on that. And leading off will be the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. He will get the first crack at Corey Kluber. Mr. Sandoval. Pablo, 0-for-1, strikeout and a walk. 4-5 for the switch hitter. 4-5 is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Ramirez. He's a 3. 3 and a 7. That might be good enough for a shortstop. Let's see. 3 and a 7. Ground ball B. Good enough. So he gets the slow running Panda for out number 1. Indians looking to go 7-3. Ramirez steps up. He is 0-for-2. He struck out and hit into a double play. 1-9, and not this time. 1-9, a 1-17 is a homer. And it would be his 2nd of the season. And it is home run for Hanley Ramirez. It's only a solo shot, but it does cut the lead to 5-2. 2nd home run of the season for Ramirez as he took Kluber deep. And that'll send up Blake Swihart. And now that we're in the 7th inning, Michael Bradley, or Jackie Bradley rather, will be available to pinch hit, pinch run, whatever. We'll see if that comes up. Here's Swihart. 5-10, switch hitter batting left. That is a ground ball to second. Handled by Kipnis, 2 down. And that brings up the flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino. He is 0-for-2. Do you bring in Brad? I think you're going to hold, with 2 outs, nobody on, I think you're going to let Victorino hit, despite being 0-for-2. 1-9, and he's hit by pitch plus injury. How about that? So, unfortunate for Mr. Victorino. He is now susceptible to an injury. And we'll go to our injury chart. Right here, 1-4, he'll be okay. 5-6, he just misses the remaining of this game. 7 or higher, he misses multiple games. 19, he's out for 15 games. Wow. So Shane Victorino goes on the injured list. He will be out for 15 games. Wow. And even though the season's 1/3, I'm not chopping injuries. I'm doing the full effect because I got the extra players, and I like to be able to have to do some maneuvering. So Victorino hit by the pitch, and now we got to figure out who's going to come in for. I guess we're going to use Jackie Bradley to run for him. It make the most sense. So Jackie Bradley is going to run for him. Victorino will go on the injured list, and the Red Sox will have to make a roster move after the game to sub in someone else. So Jackie Bradley will be the new right fielder. So unfortunately for the Red Sox, the Flying Hawaiian will be getting some time off. So Bradley is the new runner. Here's Mookie Betts. Now Kluber's one batter away from being tired if he gives up a base runner. If he gives up a hit or walk to Mookie Betts, he will be tired. Bradley does run pretty well, but down 5-2, not going to take a chance. 112, that's a hit by pitch plus injury for Mookie Betts. Boy, the Red Sox going from insult to injury literally. And now Kluber is tired, but we'll check the injury factor for Mookie Betts. Again, the same result. They can't afford to lose him. It's an 18. He's going to be out 10 games. So how about that? Boy, the Red Sox just going to have to go to their minors here. Mookie Betts is out for 10 games. Wow. So now Bradley's going to move to center field, and they ought to bring in somebody else to play right field. Let's see who they want to go to off their bench. They do have Daniel Nava that could. Daniel Nava can play right field. So Daniel Nava, even though he later went to Tampa Bay, he will come in and play right field. So Nava will be in right field. Jackie Bradley will move to center. So that's the move that has to be made there. So wow, back-to-back hit by pitch plus injuries. Kluber's now tired, but they're going to let him. Let's see if he can finish the inning. See if he can finish what he started. As now Victorino and Betts both on the shelf. And so for Betts, let's see here, we're going to have Nava come in. So on the bench for the Red Sox remaining, it is Brock Holt and Sandy Leone, the backup catcher. Those are the two remaining. Right now, Pedroia. Now they will hold Bradley at second. Not going to hold, of course, the trail runner Nava. Kluber, 6-6 against the righty. Struck him out, and that's the end of the inning. But I think that's going to be all for Kluber. He's going to go 7, and he's going to face 23 batters and give up the 2 runs. So 7th inning stretch time. And now on the computer I need to make some adjustments. Bradley is in center and Nava is in right. Now what do we do with the pitching? Do we let Breslow keep going, or do we make a move? I think you're going to bring in a right-hander now because, well, maybe not. You got Kipnis the lefty, so they're going to stick with Breslow. Breslow's going to stay in there. He's got a good fatigue rating, so they're going to leave him in there against the lefties. But I do need to stretch for a second. It is a 7th inning stretch after all. I don't have any singing or music to go by, but I do need to stretch and just make sure that I'm not getting too stiff sitting here. And also check the setup to make sure everything can be seen. I think it's still pretty good as far as I can tell. Good in air quotes. Best I can do with my cheap equipment. All right, which is no equipment, just a phone acting as a camera. All right, so Kipnis is on. Bottom of the 7th, 5-2 Indians here in game 1 of matchup 3, series 4. And I did forget to check the injury chance for Breslow. Not that the Red Sox need more injuries, but if they do get it, he's a 1, so that would be a 6-12 for Breslow. Forgot to do it for Hembry, but he wasn't in the game long enough to worry about it. Here's Kipnis. 5-9. Struck him out. He's not tired, obviously, because he only he only faced, when did he come in? I'm trying to remember when he came in. I think he came in to face Bourne. I think I forgot to write that down. So, Breslow strikes out Kipnis. Make sure I've got the right information for Breslow. Yep, that was just his second batter faced. He faced Bourne, and now he's faced Kipnis, struck him out. That'll bring up Santana, so Breslow's definitely still good to go. He might even be able to finish the game. So Breslow facing Santana. 6-3 against a switch hitter batting right is a fly ball left field X. That's bad news because that's Ramirez, and Ramirez is a 5 in left field. 5 and a 2, boy, that's dangerous. That could be a triple right there. 5 and a 2 for a left fielder. Nope, it's just a double. I say only a double, but Santana with a double to left field that Ramirez couldn't get to. But the Red Sox are shorthanded in the rest of the game, so they really had no choice who's out there. They kind of have to stick with it. They could put Brock Holt out there, but they may need Brock Holt to back up an infielder. So here's Michael Brantley, 2 for 3. Santana not being held on second. Lefty on lefty, 6-8. 6-8 is a ground ball second base X. And the second baseman is Pedroia. Pedroia is a 2. 2 and a 13 for second baseman. 2 and a 13 is a ground ball B. Ground ball B. And that'll move Santana. Although, you know what I might do? Let's see what Santana is here. Yeah, if I'm going to be consistent, I guess I better do it that way. So Santana takes third with the ball hit to the right side. 2 down now, though, for Jose Ramirez, switch hitter. So it doesn't matter whether you bring in a righty or a lefty here. It's a switch hitter. He actually hits better against righties a little bit, so it's probably better to leave the lefty in there. 3-8, and he pops it up to short to end the inning. And Cleveland comes away empty-handed in the bottom of the 7th, but they still maintain that 5-2 lead. And now we're looking for bullpen arms for the Indians to see who they want to bring in as Kluber's day is done. Bogarts will be the leadoff hitter, followed by Ortiz and Napoli. So you got 2 righties and a lefty. So it makes sense to bring in a right-hander. And they will bring in, who do they want to bring in? They're going to bring in right-hander Brian Shaw, 3-3 in real life with a 2.95 ERA and 2 saves. He had a rough outing against Cincinnati his last time out. Didn't last very long. So his ERA is going to be a little bit higher than he would like it. But again, it's early in the season. So Brian Shaw coming in, and on the season, he's 0-1 with a 10.80 ERA, but only 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So sample size, of course, is not very large, but Shaw is in there now to face Bogarts, 5-2, top of the 8th. 5-9 against a right-hander, struck him out. So Shaw comes in, strikes out Xander Bogarts. That's a big first out to get. Make sure nobody's on base for Big Papi in case he decides to go deep. 5-6. That's a fly to center, so he went deep, but not deep enough. And Michael Bourne ran it down. 2 up and 2 down, so Shaw lowering that ERA. It's already dropped now to an even 9, so at least he's in single digits. Napoli 0 for 3. 3-8 for Napoli. He's 0 for 4 on the fly to center. Bourne puts it away again. Easy 8th inning for Brian Shaw. And that sets it up, if the Indians do not score in the bottom of the 8th, it sets it up for their closer to get a save, Cody Allen. So we'll see how that plays out. Breslow will stay in the game for the Red Sox, as he's pitched well, so they might as well leave him in there. He's faced 5 batters, except for a double by Santana. He's gotten all of them out. And he got another lefty right in there. Brandon Moss, the DH. 1-7, and that's a ground ball to short. Bogarts over to Napoli. One away. And Cody Allen is loosing in the Indians bullpen. And if no more runs are scored, he will come in to pitch the ninth and try to get the save. Here's Ryan Rayburn. He's 3 for 3 subbing for Murphy. You could pinch hit Murphy, but why? Rayburn's 3 for 3, even though he doesn't have a very good column against righties, but he's done it against righties for the most part. 6-8, and this time it's a ground ball to second. Pedroia is a 2. 2 and 10 will go to his error check. He's an E11. E11 for Pedroia. It's a 5. E11 and a 5 for a second baseman. That's a 1 base error, so Pedroia boots it. A boot by Pedroia. And now both teams have committed an error. As Pedroia lets Rayburn get on. Good thing for the Red Sox is Rayburn doesn't run very well. So here is Chisenhall. Chisenhall is in. Lefty against lefty. Rayburn not being held at first base. Breslow, 5-3. Ground ball pitcher X. He is a 4 E22, but he's a 4 for his range. But you usually go to an error check when you're a pitcher, although a 4 and a 3 might go to the range check, which would not be a good thing for Mr. Breslow. 4 and a 3 is a single 2 stars. So how about that? A single 2 stars that got right up the middle on him. And Chisenhall now 3 for 4. That puts runners on the corners for Roberto, Perez, and that's going to be it for Chisenhall. I'm sorry, for Breslow. He's going to leave, and they're going to bring in a right-hander to try to pitch out of the inning if possible. Breslow ended up going, or facing, let's see, he ended up going 1 2/3 innings, and he faced 8 batters. But now with runners on the corners and 1 out, the Red Sox will turn to Alexei Ogando to see if he can get out of the inning. Right-hander Alexei Ogando in real life, 3-1, 3.99 ERA, no saves. Let's see what he's done on the replay. Alexei Ogando. He is 1-1 with a 6.75 ERA. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. He has given up 2 home runs in just 4 innings of pitching. So, got to be careful of the long ball. Although Perez, well, he's got decent power, I think. 7 home runs and 184 at-bats is pretty decent power, but he is susceptible to the double play. So they are playing back for the double play. Ogando against Perez. And I'll check the injury factor for Ogando. Not that the Indians want to hear that word injury anymore. Let's see here. Sheet over here fell away to the side. So Ogando is a 1, which is a 6-12. So he's got to avoid the 6-12. But right now the injuries have been happening to the position players, not the pitchers. So here is Perez. 110 struck him out. 111 would have ground ball would have scored the run, but 110 is a strikeout. So big strikeout there by Mr. Ogando. That makes it 2 down with runners on the corners. And Michael Bourne, the batter. Chisenhall at first base he will be held because he's a C stealer and can get a jump, and so they're going to hold him. So here's Bourne. 1-6 struck him out. So Ogando comes in and strikes out both batters he faces to get the Red Sox out of potential danger. Keeps the score at 5-2. So it is now a save situation, which means the Indians closer, Cody Allen, will be coming on to try to get the save. Cody Allen, in real life, he was 2-5, 2.99 ERA, and 34 saves. On the replay, he is 0-0. He's only thrown 1 inning all season, so he hasn't had much work. 1 inning pitch, 2 hits, no walks and a strikeout. His ERA is a 9, so pitched 1 inning, gave up 1 run. But not so. Really, in 9 games, your closer's only pitched 1 inning, so they just haven't had a lot of close games that they've been ahead. So this is the perfect time to bring him in. He's got a nice, comfortable 3-run lead, get a cheap save, pad the stats. For Cleveland, Cody Allen is a 0. He cannot get hurt. And he'll be facing Sandoval, Ramirez, and Swihart. And really the only good hitter on the bench is Brock Holt, if you want to call him a good hitter. But the Panda will start things off against Cody Allen. 5-8, and he struck him out. So Cody Allen starts the 9th with a strikeout. That will bring up Hanley Ramirez. Homered his last time up. 2-7. This time he grounds it to short. Ramirez grounds to Ramirez as Hanley grounds to Jose. And the Indians are 1 out away from taking game 1 of the series. Blake Swihart is your scheduled hitter. He is 0 for 3, so they will bring on Brock Holt to pinch hit. Brock Holt, in real life, for the Red Sox, was a .280 hitter with 2 home runs. But since Swihart was 0 for 3 in his season debut, they figured maybe it's time to bring in a better hitter. And Brock Holt is the choice. So Brock Holt on the replay is hitting .250, 4 out of 16. No homers or runs driven in. He's just looking to get on base, extend the game if possible. So Brock Holt is your guy. And if it somehow goes to a bottom of the 9th, they do have the Sandy Leon will come in and catch. But that's not a likely situation. Brock Holt, 4-6, struck him out. So Cody Allen says, no 9th inning magic today. I'm coming in and getting my cheap save and padding my stats. So Shaw and Allen retired all batters they face. And there's your ball game. And we'll get the totals in just a second as soon as I get the computer set up to give me those totals. We will show those and get those all straight. One thing for sure, Boston drops the game to the Indians by a score of 5-2. Cleveland improves to 7-3. Boston drops to 6-4 as the Red Sox fall in game 1 of a 3-game set. And not only do they fall, but to add insult to injury, Betts and Victorino both will miss multiple games. So they're going to have to do some work. Totals line score, 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Boston. They left on 6. For the Cleveland Indians, 5 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error. They left on 8. Winning pitcher, Corey Kluber, he is now 2-1. And the loser was Clay Buchholz. He is now 0-1. Obviously, since it's his first game. And the save to Cody Allen, that is save number 2. I'm sorry, it's his first save. My bad. That's his first save. His only second appearance and his first save. He saved 34 in real life, so you figure he might get about 11 saves in this season replay, being 1/3 of a season. So there you go. Final score. Cleveland Indians 5, Boston Red Sox 2. 5 runs, 13 hits, 1 error, 8 left for Cleveland. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, 6 left for Boston. Kluber the winner, 2-1. Buchholz the loser, 0-1. The save to Cody Allen. Home runs in the game. Only home run in the game was by the losing team, Pablo Sandoval. Big hitters in the game. 3 for 4 for Ryan Rayburn in place of the rested Murphy. He came through, went 3 for 4. Chisenhall also 3 for 4. So the number 7 and 8 hitters combined to go 6 for 8. Score 3 runs and drive in multiple runs. So bottom part of the order for Cleveland did it for the most part. And they take game 1, improve to 7-3. Next game on video will be going down the line. It'll be matchup 4. It'll be the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Seattle Mariners from Seattle. So there will be a DH since the American League is the home team. So the the Diamondbacks will have to pick a DH, probably going to be Mark Trumbo. But for the Red Sox, their big deal now is to find 2 replacements on the roster for Victorino and Betts. So let me look at their roster real quick and see who they might be possible candidates to replace them. On the bench, they do have Travis Shaw, so they could bring Travis Shaw up. They also have Rusney Castillo. I think he's going to definitely be a candidate. Rusney Castillo. So I think it's going to be Shaw and Castillo. I'm pretty sure that's where we're going to go with that. So let's take a look at their roster. They also have Alan Craig, Josh Rutledge. They're both possible. I think the first guy is going to be Rusney Castillo. He will be in, and he'll take Betts' place because he can play center field. So, because they lost 2 outfielders, so you really want to try to maybe bring in 2 outfielders. Rutledge is an infielder, but they may not have any choice because Hannigan's hurt, so they can't bring him in. Oh, Travis Shaw is the other guy I'm thinking of. He's mostly an infielder, though. They also have Devin Marrero, another infielder, but I think Travis Shaw is going to be the other guy that comes in. So those are the 2 guys that are going to be in there for Victorino and Betts. Victorino and Betts will miss some time, unfortunately, for the Red Sox. Just happened that way. Don't like to see that, but that's all part of the fun of this. That's why it's called a demolition league. Oops. That's why it's called demolition league. Anything can happen, rough and rowdy injuries, and you just got to work your bench, work your bullpen, and try to work around these injuries and do some managing. That's what the Red Sox have to do, and that's what they will be doing, as they now have 2 new players, Travis Shaw and Rusney Castillo. They will now be the new players on the roster, as unfortunately Victorino and Betts go on the injured list. So let's go do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.